To start the proceedings, I would like to invite Osman and Kimano up to the stage, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, teachers, resident tutors, staff members, parents and guardians, distinguished guests, our principal, Mr. Smith, directors, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, and our special guest of honor, Tessie Ojo. Welcome to our 2023 prize giving and graduation ceremony. I am Kimana Joseph, a year 12 A-level student in the Football Academy. Our education at Brookhouse College is an amazing journey and one that we will most likely never forget. When we first came to Brookhouse College, we all had one goal in mind, and that was to make our mark on the school and make our mark on the world once we graduate. We all have different career choices, but we're all bound by the same common cause, and that is to succeed in our goals.
I'm Osman Mian, a student in year 11 and a part of the U16 Football Academy. Many people in this room are graduating, but not just because we scooted our way through the years, but because we put in the hard work, the dedication, and the effort to get to where we are today. We could not have done that without the help of our friends, families, teachers, and the school community constantly encouraging us to keep up the good work. We have a great program lined up with academic prize winners, principals awards, Football Academy awards, house awards, and finally, graduation certificates for all of this year's graduates. Before we get started, I'm going to take my phone out. I'm going to just turn it off. I'd be most definitely appreciated if you could do the same. Now we would like to welcome to the stage our principal, Mr. Ian Smith.
Thank you, Kimana and Osman, for those introductions and for facilitating the beginning, the opening of our prize giving and graduation ceremony. Our theme last year was gratitude. And as we gather again as a whole community, being streamed, Tessie, I've said, to 60 nations around the world, we gather as one whole group, taking the opportunity in a beautiful venue to show a collective gratitude and appreciation to friends and supporters that have walked beside us this year and look forward to acquaintances that lie ahead. There are so many wonderful ambassadors in our hall today that have contributed so much to our college community. Thank you to everybody that's helped put on this event, both the service today and also the evening summer ball. May I extend a very special welcome to Tessie Ojo, CBE. Tessie has joined me on many occasions in different countries and different events to appreciate and celebrate young people. That's what she is about. She's about recognizing the fact that every single one of you in this room could make a contribution to making our place, our planet, a little bit better for each other. She holds the prestigious position of CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the Diana Award, and has inspired youngsters with that organization for over 20 years. Thank you for Tessie for joining us both this afternoon and at those many events, meeting our students and learning their journeys, their interests and their aspirations. To our directors, Mr. Giles Williams, who will offer the closing address to our graduating students, and also to Mrs. Williams. To our true FA legend, that is Mickey Adams, who you'll hear this afternoon share out the prizes and reflect on the FA achievements. In fact, welcome to so many distinguished guests that are here today. Our advisory board with Mr. Oliver and Mr. Lawrence Jones in attendance. Our parents, all here in person, and those that are joining performance and values, demonstrating that high performance mindset, having the courage to be open-minded, to ask questions, practice with dedication, resilience, and perseverance. It takes courage to learn, to receive constructive criticism, and to be coached. A high-performance mindset also requires vulnerability. I'm very vulnerable standing in front of you in this particular speech. The willingness to accept that you may be wrong, that you might not get picked every time, that you can learn just as much from losing as winning. Vulnerability is something that I'd like us all to reflect on in the context of my talk today. For as sportsmen and sportswomen, we often wear a mask like superheroes to display our strength. As elite sportsmen and sportswomen, avoiding showing any weakness is a noble display of strength with the aim to defeat opponents. But it genuinely takes courage to represent your team. And the paradox, as Brené Brown would tell us, a brilliant writer and psychologist that Mac, I shared a book with you at the House of Lords as your gift. She guides us that really it is a paradox of vulnerability. The first thing I look for it's the first thing I look for in you, and the last thing I want you to see in me. I'm going to read that again because I didn't do a very good job of that. It's the first thing I look for in you, and it's the last thing I want you to see in me. Vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's our greatest measure of courage. Not very clear, but the Kenyan runner Abel Mutai was a few meters from the finish line this year and got confused by signals and stopped. How many times do we get confused in the classroom or in our lives when we perhaps misrepresent or misunderstand? A Spanish runner, Ivan Fernandez, pushed Mutai to victory, and he's in that picture doing exactly that. One reporter asked Ivan, "Why did you do this?" He replied, "My dream is that one day we can have the kind of community that pushes ourselves and others to win as well. The kind of community that pushes both ourselves and others to win." "But why did you let the Kenyan win?" the reporter insisted. He replied, "What is the merit of my victory? What is the honor of such a medal? What would my mother think?" Courage and vulnerability winning together. At Brook House, we have one purpose. It's a commitment to every child, the education for all. We have three elements of a shared vision: to inspire with time, to encourage with love, and to empower with language. And we have 6 values that underpin that. Those values will change, and those values at the moment reflect some aspects of the work we're doing to achieve high-performance learning accreditation. For we want our staff and our students to be role models for each other, so that they are creative and curious, collaborative and caring, and show compassion and courage. One purpose, 3 elements, and 6 values. It takes courage to come to a new country, far away from home, and make new friends as a boarder, to learn a new language, to compete for your place on that team. Courage was needed to cope with COVID. It carries on. The restrictions on travel, the movement and freedom. It takes courage to stand up to racism, to show it the red card, and courage as a community to deal with the loss of a friend and teammate. Can I ask us to bow our heads for a moment and reflect as a community? and remember our beloved Dom and his number 136. There won't be many prize givings and schools across the country that can come together in that way that you've just demonstrated. Thank you for everything that you've done this year to support each other. We are a community of peers, of staff and of parents celebrating the graduation this year of our Year 13, acknowledging prizes for progress and performance. Let us consider the purpose in that, our impact beyond school in that real world. A real world of complexity and ambiguity, one in which this very speech could have been generated by an algorithm of ChatGTP. I think it costs me a little too much after the first 10 minutes to actually generate it, after 2 paragraphs. But that is the truth. I could have generated everything digitally. I chose to write my speech, and hopefully it reflects my interests, my aspirations, and a personal passion. As educators, we must prepare our students for the challenges that we face in terms of sustainable development, inclusion, world peace, and the creative and ethical use of technology. Graduates, as you progress holding your Brookhouse folder, it's possible that you'll be lucky enough to find your purpose, but it's much more likely that you'll have to build it yourself. Curiosity doesn't stop at childhood. The world is so complex and challenging. Adulthood will settle on you, and life demands that we take actions and make commitments in a future of uncertainty. Anybody that has given their heart in love, nurtured a child with the gift of language, or in time, proudly watched them graduate on a stage like this, heading into an uncertain future, knows this to be true. Whether in Year 7 or Year 13, somewhere between or somewhere between. Have the courage to question, have the courage to learn, and have the courage to find your purpose. I close with the following words of Max Ehrmann. I read it every day, it's on my office wall. Some will have noticed, some may not. Simple words with a profound meaning. Year 13, go placidly amongst the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly. Listen to others, even to the dull and to the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons, they are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, but always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Take kindly to the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and of loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. For you are the child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have earned your right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, be in no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its stram, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy, and most of all, be yourself. Thank you.
I'd like to now welcome our School Council President, Victor, up to say a few words.
Good evening, fellow students, staff members, parents and guardians, and our principal and our special guest, Tessie. My name is Victor Chukwu, and I'm the Student Council President and also part of the graduation class of 2023. It is surreal to think that time in this wonderful school has come to an end and that we are about to leave our second home. Today, we gather to celebrate all our accomplishments, memories, and milestones that we have achieved during our time here. Looking back, I see countless memories, from the friendships formed during pre-season to the late night cramming sessions before exams. We have shared laughter, tears, hardship together, leaving an indelible mark in our lives. As we leave this place with some familiar halls and classrooms, we can honestly say that we are better people because of the time we spent here. As we graduate today, let us take a moment to reflect on the many doors and opportunities that await us. This is a moment of transition, but also an opportunity for growth. Leave the past behind, but hold on to the memories and lessons learned, as they will be instrumental in shaping our future. I would like to thank our principal, teachers, administration, kitchen staff, football team, maintenance team, boarding team, the nurse, Miss Linda, and most especially Leo, for their tireless efforts in making this journey a smooth and comfortable success. They have built the backbone of our education, provide us with the skills, knowledge, and the resources to thrive in our careers. To all the parents, families, and friends who have supported us throughout our education, we cannot thank you enough. Your unwavering support and encouragement have been vital to our success. As we part ways today, let us acknowledge that our journey doesn't end here. We will continue to seek knowledge, grow personally and professionally, and contribute positively to society. So with that in mind, let's just take a moment to bid farewell, say our last goodbyes, and look forward to conquering new heights. Thank you and congratulations.
I'd now like to invite up onto the stage Tessie Ojo
Firstly, I'm going to apologize to Osman because I've got my phone. I have it just because I need to keep an eye on the time. I do love to chat a lot, and I know I've only got a short time, so I've got my phone, so I apologize in advance. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you all for having me. Thank you so much, Ian. I call him Ian, Mr. Smith. I have to remember to say Mr. Smith. We've known each other for 15, 16 years, and one of the things I absolutely love about you is how you champion your people. You know, the thing about Mr. Smith that you all might not know is wherever he goes, he begins to look outside of the curriculum, outside of education. How can we make the lives of young people better? How can we make sure that young people are accessing much more than the curriculum offers? And I really value that. So the minute you text me, when you moved here, you said, Tessie, one of these days I'm going to get you to come. I'm like, I know it would happen. Just tell me when. It's taken us a couple of years, but we're here. And it's lovely. So I've had the pleasure of meeting some of you, looking around your grounds, and I'm very super envious that you live in this luxurious place. So I hope that you are, I know that as students, and sometimes when you are in the middle of being at school, it doesn't feel like anything is happening. You want the outside world, but I promise you, cherish every single moment that you have here. Hopefully my slides work. So my name is Tessie Ojo, and I am the Chief Executive of the Diana Award. And I think, as Mr. Smith said, the Diana Award is the only charity across the whole entire world that continues the legacy of Princess Diana. You know, Princess Diana believed actually that children, young people have the power to change the world. And so our work, our charity focuses on helping young people discover that they have power. And sometimes we know that you don't often realize that you have power. So our job is to clear off the things on the way, to take away the barriers so that you realize your power. But it's not about power for yourself. It's not about power to be a big man or a big woman. It's about power to change the world for good. One of my, hold the applause, I haven't got time, thank you. One of my favorite quotes of Princess Diana is this one. And one of the things, and I'm going to speak mostly to the adults, and for everybody in this room, because it relates, everyone can relate to this. You know, I love this quote because it talks about we have an obligation to care for our children in ways which clearly demonstrates to our children that we value them. So the thing I love about this quote is when it talks about our children, it doesn't refer to biological children. It talks about the collective responsibility that we all have to look after each other. Because it says that if we all do our part, making sure that we look after each other, we will create tremendous results. I had the pleasure this earlier today to meet the #MeToo, young people. And the role they play is in looking after each other, looking after the younger ones, making sure that everyone feels included. There's no magic bullet out there. If we want to create a society that works for me, works for you, works for the generations to come, there's only one way we can do it, that we take collective responsibility for each other. That's really what the charity does. I have, as chief executive of the charity, I have these two men. I don't know if you guys can see them from the slides. Are my bosses. I have the pleasure of working alongside them for the last 23 years. And I often say to them that it's an incredible privilege to be asked by them to curate the legacy of their mother, and I do not take that privilege for granted. So one of the things, when I was thinking about today and what today meant, I realized that when you are about to leave school, when you are in year 13, year 11, you're about to move on to that transition year, even if you're in year 6 and you're moving to year 7, or you are just about graduating from university. My youngest graduated from university about 3 years ago. And everyone usually would ask you, so what are you going to do next? Right? People constantly ask you, what next? And sometimes I also think that what they really mean is they're trying to find out, what are you going to become? What are you going to do? What is your plan? Basically, that's what they're asking. And that's a hard question because I'm 52 and I'm still becoming, right? I studied biochemistry at university. I went back to do an MBA because I just didn't quite like being a biochemist. And every now and again, I pick up something. When my daughter studied psychology, and I'm like, God, my goodness, I should have studied psychology. Because every day we are becoming. So the question, as you guys leave, some of you, maybe you have a plan, good for you. I promise you that plan will change because we are humans and we evolve, we become. Every day you wake up, you choose what you want to be. And I wonder, how do you become? How do you be? How do you choose to be? How do you decide? What is the criteria? What values, guides, or shapes your becoming? When I was thinking about this, I remembered a story that I was told so many years ago about a young girl. She was only 8. Her name is Brianna. An 8-year-old Brianna was in year 3 in primary school, and she came to a class, and they were having arts and an art lesson. And in this lesson, the teacher, who had been teaching for 32 years, it was time for the children to draw their favorite thing in the whole wide world. The teacher, who was taught for 32 years, knew that there were three things the children usually drew: their favorite food, their family, or their pets. Always fell into these three categories. And so the teacher gave every child the paper and the pen, and they started. And as teachers, you guys know I'm not one, but you are. The teacher walked around the class, making sure that every child was doing exactly what they were meant to do. And as she came up to Brianna, as she walked past, she noticed that every child was doing. She could make out Tessie was, if it's me, I will probably be drawing a plate of jollof rice because that's my best food.
Mm.
We don't have time for applause. Let's save it till the end. Thank you, I appreciate you. For some of the kids, they were drawing the cats, the dog, the squirrel, whatever, the goldfish, until she got to Brianna. When she got to Brianna, she couldn't quite make out what Brianna was drawing. It didn't look like what she was used to seeing. And she knew that there were 20 minutes into the lesson is only 40 minutes, so if she didn't stop Brianna now, Brianna, being 8, might have a whole breakdown if she realized that she didn't quite get the assignment right. And so she decided to tap Brianna on the shoulder and says, Brianna, yes, miss, what are you doing? Miss, I'm doing what you asked us to do. And Miss said, Brianna, yes, miss, can you tell me what I asked you to do? Brianna, if she's anything like me when I was 8, I probably would roll my eyes at this point at my teacher. Don't do that, it's no good. But she told the teacher exactly what she knew she should do: draw your favorite thing. But the teacher then says, but Brianna, so you obviously know what you're meant to be doing, but I can't see what you're doing, doesn't make sense. And Brianna says, Miss, I know what I'm doing. I'm drawing God. Right? I love that. Oh, Miss said to her, the teacher says to her, but Brianna, how on earth can you draw God? Nobody has seen God. How can you draw him? And Brianna says, well, Miss, when I finish, they will know him because I will show them. You know, there's something about Brianna that I love. And if I may spend the next few minutes just unpicking that story, because for me, I find in Brianna, I suppose, the principles or the values of what we should become as we go along life. You know, across our society, across the world, we are very, very shaped by what other people say about us. Raise your hand if you've ever changed your plan because somebody told you that that plan was rubbish. Raise your hand if you've ever changed an outfit because somebody did not like the outfit that you wore. See, the thing I loved about Brianna was she refused to follow the pattern. She knew that she could have easily drawn her favorite food or her favorite pet. But she knew that she wanted to do what she wanted to do irrespective of what other people thought about her. She probably knew that people would think that she's stupid, crazy, whatever, to even attempt to draw God. Yet she chose to. And I suppose what I'm challenging you today, that as you become who is in control of your destiny? Are you the kind of person that becomes whoever people want them to be? Or are you the person that becomes who you are because you are self-confident? You know, many years ago, a few years back now, people like Instagram have decided to begin to hide their like counts, where you can actually create when you write a post, you can hide the counts. And why did they do that? Because they realized that a lot of people were basing their worthiness on the number of likes they got on a post. So if you wrote a post V came to the UK at the age of 11. Herself and her sister, they had just lost their father, and her mom decided to move from Zimbabwe. V was someone who was incredibly academic, loved reading, and she got into school. Of course, by the time she came into year 7, they said, V was that little girl that was like, Miss, I want to do, and the teacher said to her, the teacher sort of looked at her and thought, immigrant, single mother, you cannot do much. V one day popped up to her teacher and said, Miss, I would love to go to Oxford University. And the teacher said, nah, not people like you. And V said, I will show you, Miss. I bet you V and Brianna met in a previous life. Because she did. Went to Oxford. But see, the thing about her was she just didn't go to Oxford. The minute she went into Oxford, she made sure she became student rep. She made sure she opened a YouTube channel. She was teaching every child how to write your people, what's that thing? Your cover note for university? Personal statement, thank you. She began to run you have a YouTube channel, right now has over 1 million followers. She runs an annual University College London gives her the campus to run a residential every summer for year 13s and year 12s. She's only 24. She didn't only go to Oxford, she finished from Oxford and she said, what is the next best university in the world? She went to Harvard to do a master's. When I talk about audacity, I'm not talking about the selfish type of audacity. I'm not talking about the audacity that thinks about me, myself, and I. I'm talking about the audacity that says, I want to change things. I've had enough. I want a different outcome. The third thing I've learned from Brianna, and which I'm going to close with, is purpose. You see, Brianna, I don't know, perhaps she might have had maybe an argument with somebody on the playground and somebody had said to her, there is no God. And maybe she thought, I'm going to show them there is God. Brianna came into that art lesson with one purpose, with one vision. I'm going to show them, and they would know. And she did. So I want to ask you, what's your plan? And when I talk about purpose and plan, I am not talking about the job you are going to do. Because your job, I forgot to say to you, V is now a UN young leader. She's actually paid by the UN to do. This morning I was chatting to her and she was like, Tessie, I'm off to Ghana. I'm like, of course I know, you're off everywhere. That one mission, that one purpose has become the thing that she does. So I'm asking you, when I think about purpose is bigger than your plan. So as you might be on your way out to becoming, I'm not really in the football world, so I might not get the right terminologies. You might be playing for some club. Brilliant, good for you. But so what? So what? So when you're done, what next? So what? You know, the thing I realized, I knew in the pandemic, I never knew of a name. I never knew of Marcus Rashford. Never knew of him, ever. Because I don't really follow football. But I knew of him because of his campaign. More people know of the awards that he gets. It's not only from his sporting career, but because of the bigger plan, the bigger purpose. Because he's becoming a man that understands that enough is enough. A man that understands that, yes, I might play football now, but I have a bigger purpose in life to influence my community, to do good for others. So whoever you are becoming, I'm challenging you that the 3 things that would help you is to remain audacious. Find your purpose. And I say to you, your purpose is bigger than your job. I'm Tessie Ojo. I'm bigger. My purpose in life is bigger than being a chief executive. So I wonder, as you become, as you live here, who really are you? Who are you becoming? And in case you've forgotten everything and you might think, I don't really know what all of that or what you're saying is, the best way to describe it is to be a change maker wherever you go. Look outside of yourself. Think about who needs my help. When you sit on the bus, look out for the next person who needs my help. Maybe nobody talks to that person. Be the risk taker. Talk to them. Someone asked me once, Tessie, what is a change maker? I said it's just ordinary people like me and you, but they do extraordinary things. So I ask that as you become, that you go on and do extraordinary things. Don't be ordinary. And in case you don't really know what that means, I'm going to keep it really simple. I love this quote because it just reminds us that you're never too young or too old to do good. It says that wherever you are, whatever you do, as long as you ever can, to whoever needs you at any given time, it tells me that there's no expiration date. And I hope that as you become, that you would hold on to this, because truly, that's only that. Only when we truly leave this earth do we stop becoming. But if we live by these principles, then we will be great humans. Thank you for listening. Now you can do that.
Thank you very much for that wonderful speech. I'd like to invite you to stay up on the stage for just a little while longer to give our academic prizes to our academic prize winners. And I'd like to also invite Mrs. Sarah Doyle up to the stage to
Okay, so we have a lot of prizes to celebrate together. I'm going to do my best to make sure I don't embarrass myself completely pronouncing your names. I can't say I'm going to get them perfect, but I'll give my best shot. So we are going to start with subject prizes, which have been nominated by our teachers. So, first of all, Performance Prize, Humanities and English, for consistently outstanding in art, Malika Sarsanova, please. Humanities and English, Prize for Progress in Art, Wen Kan Min, please come forward. Prize for Performance in Social Science, Working Sociology, Ryan Murphy, well done, Ryan. Progress Prize in Social Science for Outstanding Progress in Sociology, Sohail Rajavi. Prize for Performance in Natural Science, consistently outstanding physics and computer science is Peter Matthews. Malika, if you could come forward again, you have got a progress prize in physics, natural sciences. Outstanding performance in mathematics, Adam Hai Long. Natural Sciences Award, Performance in Science, Osman Niam. Natural Sciences, Progression in Science, Daniel Beretta. Performance in Mathematics, Bari Chow. Key Stage 4 Mathematics, Progress in Maths, Cole Thompson. Overall high performance in Key Stage 3, it's Rosa Campamolo. Overall progress in Key Stage 3, it's Fabio Palmer. Well done, Fabio. Outstanding performance in Perspectives, it's Castiota. From our pre-sessional course, outstanding progress goes to Umberto de Sousa. And to finish the subject prizes, we have 2 IELTS prizes. The first of all is performance in IELTS for Gwen Khan Min, please. And the second one is progress in IELTS. It's Tanet Kawilo. Well done,
Thank you very much. Before we proceed with the university and principal prizes, there's one more award to give out, one more prize to give out, which I'd like to, on behalf of Brickhouse College, to really express a token of our gratitude to you for coming today. I'd like to give you a small gift.
I'm sorry. Can we lift it up? Yeah. You stop them there, please.
To receive now, to award now the university-sponsored prizes and the whole school prizes and principals prizes, I'd like to invite back up onto the stage our principal, Mr. Ian Smith.
Okay, everybody's coming up for the right prizes, so it means I'm not doing too badly with your names. Let's give it another go. So, performance in the University Foundation Programme. This is Portsmouth University Prize, great work in UFP. Anthony Ware. Awarded by University of West of England, outstanding performance in UFP, it's Wale Obalola. The UCAM prize for outstanding performance goes to Wen Han Bap An. The Nottingham Trent University prize for outstanding performance goes to Wen Ki Mai An. The next prizes are for attendance, with the highest attendance this year. I wish you were all getting a prize, but we've got our top 3 students here. Key Stage 5, 97.6 attendance, Martin Setkoff. Key Stage 4 student, 98.7% attendance, Anne Chadar. And with 99% attendance, maybe we need to check it, maybe it is 100. It's John Ware Yu. Seems like the Chaddars are clearing up tonight. So Team Captains Cup winners, Principals Award for Leadership, it's Anne and Ari. Principals Award for Creativity, redesigning the menus in our new DJW canteen in collaboration with Lee Keenan, Alejandro Puerto. The Community Engagement Award for his work on #me and in the school council, it's Marie Chow. Principals Award for School Values, All-Round Leadership Values, Osman Mian. And our final 4 awards that are very special. The Lindsay Webster Award for Excellent in IELTS. My Tran, please do come. He celebrated at the SEEP Awards with Mr. Smith and Mr. Oliver last week. Matt Pilson, SEEP Student of the Year. Very special, the Paul Kitchener Award. This student for all-round high performance and gaining a scholarship to Maastricht University. Wenkyo Kan Pham, please And before we move on to the football section, there's a very, very special award. It's the Donald Williams Award, the Fellowship Award. Class of 2023, this award goes to Peter Matthews. Well done, everyone. You're all fantastic.
Thank you very much for that. I'd like to, first of all, invite up to the stage Victoria and Indy to say a few words.
All right, please excuse me, but as of right now, I'm currently 18 years old, and I first arrived at Brook House when I was 12 years old. Still to this day, it's easily the biggest change I've ever made in my life. It wasn't easy just leaving your home at around 12, but I found that all the other students and all the staff and every teacher just made it settling in a lot easier. Over the years, it's been a lot of fun to watch Brook House develop, and it's been a real treat to not just observe it, but also experience part of it. And I would like to thank Leo quite a bit for really kind of raising me partly. So thanks a lot, Leo. When I started in the football academy, I only had really one other kid my age, Peter, alongside of me to usher me on. But I could tell from the start that the level was a lot higher and that it was definitely pretty close in terms of everybody getting along and all that. And aside from that, I think players have doubled since I first got here. And that's just been a lot of fun and really only increased the level. Brook House itself has given me a lot of experiences. I've been able to travel to places like China, places to Spain, Italy, and just all over the world. And I know other players have been to Hungary and just Dubai and everywhere. But I think one of the best things about Brook House is that aside from getting to go places like that, it's just the experience of all the cultures coming together here. And I think that in its own is just really rewarding. Through my life, I've struggled with a ton of injuries, but I think the school on its own has really helped me kind of keep my mood up in a sense, because a lot of people have kept faith in me. And aside from that, one person I would like to thank is probably Kieran, because it's been weird having him as my main coach for most of the year. But I am happy to say that I have come back and played a couple of games since then. And I'm happy to feel I've come back strong. And aside from that, it is nice to see Brook House in itself compete and do very well in England itself, winning a couple of tournaments this year. I feel I should mention a bit of academics, as I am struggling through my exams currently. But I do feel a lot of support from all my teachers to really help me through there. And certain teachers, and particularly Miss Watson, if she's here, has taught me since I was 12 years old. And so I would like to extend a special thanks to her. Just to quickly finish, I currently am not sure what the future actually holds for me. I don't have too many plans at the moment, but I am confident that whatever my next step will be done successfully, so to say, because I feel Brook House has provided me everything I've needed to move forward in life. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Victoria and this is my second year in Brook House. I'm also apart from the football academy. Not long ago, when I first came to Brook House, I was
take over. So, hello everyone. Not long ago, when I first came to Brook House, I was just a kid with dreams, dreaming about playing football on top level, having friends like you, and in general, studying and playing abroad. It was really hard for me to be the only girl in the football academy, and to get used to all the This was a big step for me. I'm sure all of you know the feeling when you have to leave your home country, your family, your friends, your house, your everything. You start a whole new life. It's a long way, but it became easier for me with your help. Many, many thanks to Leo, who has always been there for me, giving me very useful advice. And no matter what, he always picks up the phone to help. Also, Miss Simona, our Union House tutor, thank you for waking me up every morning at 7 o'clock so I don't miss breakfast. I'm not only talking about the help from the whole staff. It may be hard for you to believe, but from every single one of you in this room, you've helped me to develop. From every discussion, disagreement, class, training, game, even just a small talk between me and one of you, I've learned a lot. It may not feel like it, but trust me, I'm so very grateful that I've met all of you. Without you, I wouldn't be the same now. Starting from all the meals that the chefs have been making for us every single day, leading to high quality classes in school and finishing with a great session on the pitch. All of this is provided by the school has made me feel a bit more close to home. Also the coaches from the football academy, Adam, Norbert, Thomas and Chloe are the ones that I've been working with the most these 2 years. They've taught me how to be myself on and off the pitch, to stay strong, and most importantly, I learned from them that if I believe in myself, anything is possible. As some of you know, I won't be in Brook House next year because I got an offer from a team to potentially play professionally next season. To say these words today. That very first day that I came to Brook House, I was just so really scared to take that step forward. Even to get out of the house alone was a challenge for me. And now I'm here, 2 years later, talking. Confidence and become a better version of myself. And I'm telling you these things, not because they asked me to, because I want to help you improve and make the best out of the opportunity you have here. I understand there'll be hard days, such as being sick, not having enough energy, not enough free time, and therefore you'll start thinking that the little things do not matter and you want to give up. But the reality is that everything you do, it pays off. I've heard a quote that says, and I assure you that if you know what you want and believe in it, there is nothing and no one that could ever stop you from achieving it. There's nothing more powerful than a young person who has a clear vision of what he or she wants in the future. Today, I want to thank all the teachers for the good advice and the useful information. Also, Mr. Istvan, for being such a huge inspiration in my life and my career. All those training sessions, games, and even trials that he organised for me has led me to this professional level. So thank you, Istvan, for all of your support. Last but not least, family. I wouldn't have known all the things I said to you without the help of my family who have been with me since the first day. To sum up now, this may be you standing up here in front of the whole school one day, giving advice from your own experience to all the students. So it's your choice. Either you take my advice and think about it, or you stay in one place. I'm telling you this because I have been through it all. I've taken my shots, I try to get better every day. All of the little things that you do count and help you grow. My advice, believe and never give up.
Now I would like to introduce you to our coach, Mickey Adams. Please welcome him on stage.
Wow, follow that. Wow, that's an hard task, I have to say. Ever wish you'd never opened that email? Sometimes just put it in the junk folder, yeah? Well, that's how I feel right now. Headmaster, thank you for inviting me to say a few words on behalf of the Football Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, leavers, I want to firstly pay tribute to the players, the boys and girls of the Academy. The cop at Liverpool FC sing about walking through a storm, holding your head up high. Don't be afraid of the dark, and at the end of the storm, there's a golden sky, and the sweet silver song of the lark. Liverpool Football Club know more than most about tragedy, and then rebuilding and coming out of the other side. The Academy players this season have had to suffer the unbelievable heartache of losing one of their own teammates, Dom, and then somehow coming through that heartache and stay focused on the task and objectives set by the coaches the other side, through the other side of it. Every victory I've felt has been in tribute to the memory of him. The Academy has continued to become stronger and even more successful with a growing reputation, not only in schools football, but also being recognised by Premier League and EFL clubs. Sorry, I've lost my tape there, which can happen. Recognised by EFL clubs also as an hidden gem for talented players. I also want at this stage to thank all the coaches and interns for their selfless dedication on the training ground and for creating a culture of excellence at the Academy that drives the players on to greater things. They're led, of course, fantastically by our Academy manager, Isman, and ably assisted by Callum. Incidentally, our under-15s triumph the other day on Wednesday night was Isfan's 10th national title since joining us 7 years ago. Well done, Isman. Notable other successes this year has been our first football forum, our yearly Easter tournaments, the visit of AC Milan girls, trips to compete with an invite from Manchester City to a tournament in Dubai. And then in July, we're looking forward to our under-18s competing and representing England schools in the World Cup in Morocco. What a privilege that is for us. Oh, and I nearly forgot about the big game tomorrow, 2 p.m. kickoff, Harbour Town. The Leavers versus Legends game. Should be good fun. Going back to our successes on the field this season, our under-15s under coach Leandro and our under-16s under coach Callum both won the small schools national cup finals. Huge congratulations to both teams, fantastic performances and well-deserved wins. Whilst it's great to win trophies, for me, the biggest and best success at the school doesn't come with a trophy presentation. It's seeing young footballers coming into the academy at whatever age, shy, nervous, sometimes away from the security blanket of family and friends for the first time. And over the months and years, through the work on the training ground and in the classrooms, becoming stronger, fitter, more confident, technically more proficient. They develop leadership qualities. They become humble and show humility, whether winning or losing. Talking of those qualities, I thought it was great last week seeing all the Manchester City players after the trophy presentation of the Premier League, talking not about their achievements as individuals, but their achievements as a team. I thought that was pretty humble from quality international players. We hope our players are given opportunities in the pro game, but if it doesn't, it will going forward make them more grounded individuals with some life skills thrown in as well. Talking of the pro game, congratulations must go to, and apologies if I miss players out. I've just picked three at random. To Thompson, who's now at Glasgow Rangers, to Denise at Leicester City, and to Ben Woodusku. I hope I've got that right, Ben, who will sign for Birmingham City in the coming days. Well done. There is other notable success stories, and congratulations to them all. One player I wanted to mention today is Gabor Selezi. I think I've got that about right. It was at our school, I think, about 4 years ago. Gabor had a couple of trials at EFL clubs whilst here. A left-footed centre-back, 6'2". What wasn't there to love about him? But the usual lazy, disparaging reports came back to us from the clubs. He's not better than what we've got here already. Well, let me tell you something. Gabor has just been called into the Hungarian national squad, the men's national squad, for the June Euro qualifiers. And that, my friends, is some achievement, and hopefully should motivate you to show you what can be achieved. Well done, Gabor. He's gone from rejection to a national squad. And my own footballing journey in the pro ranks started with a no and a rejection 45 years ago when I was 16 years old. Sheffield United, my hometown club, said I wasn't good enough. And you know, throughout my career, it wasn't always sweetness and light, I have to tell you, whether playing or managing. But I've always believed, like the old Japanese proverb said, that if you get knocked down 7 times, you get up 8 times. You get straight back up and try again. Trust yourself to succeed eventually. Instead of giving up, give yourself the time you need. You know, success is not final. Failure is not final. It's not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Finally, on to our leavers. Thank you for your efforts at the academy whilst representing Brookhouse. Winston Churchill. I know, I bet you never thought you'd hear from Winston Churchill today. Our great wartime leader said after winning a battle at El Alamein that changed the course of the Second World War, now this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning. This probably means to you, our leavers, that your time here at the school is over. You've done well so far, but you still have a long way to go. in education, in life, or whatever you want to do. Finally, they say the best way to predict your future is to create it. Whether you're unsure about your plans, and I'm sure some of you will have a million things and ideas running through your heads, don't keep thinking about it. Take action. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. From everyone at the Academy, good luck. Keep smiling.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'd now like to invite Isfan up to the stage. I can invite Mrs. Doig. Yeah.
Okay, great pleasure to announce U14 Player of the Season, Caelan Brunson. U16 Player of the Season, Prosper Padera. U17 Player of the Season, Benjamin Wadsworth. U19 Player of the Season, Jade Goalkeepers Golden Glove Award, Anthony Carrera. Top goal scorer of the season, who's it going to be? It's Hassan. I think they have to come up together. They arrive together. They're leaving together. The longest serving players in the academy. Peter and Inzi, please do come. Our Student Athlete of the Season award goes to Osman Mian. Most Improved Player of the Season, Francesco Ortelli. The Resilience Award, please give her a huge cheer. It's Wiki.
I would now like to invite Mr. Giles Williams to join us to give the Vector Prize and say a few words about Vector.
Good evening, everybody. So, as some of you may be aware, last year we commenced our first HE program, and we partnered with Coventry City Football Club, who some of you will be watching tomorrow. Hopefully they'll get promoted to the Premier League. I can't claim all the credit for that. Mickey helped a bit. But we wanted to recognise this evening the commencement of the Vector programme, the generosity of spirit of its stakeholders, and therefore we have an iPad that we wanted to present to an outstanding young talent within the Football Academy. Someone who we hope will have a bright future ahead, and someone who we hope will come to represent both Brookhouse and teams for a long time. Is there anything you would like to add?
No. That goes to our top goal scorer, and that's Hassan.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Isfan, thank you very much. For our next prizes, I'd like to invite Mr. Leo to come up to award.
Thank you. Before I'll hand these prizes, you've been amazing tonight. Thank you so much. I'm going to miss you, definitely. I would like to say thank you to all my resident tutors. If we can give them a big applause. Thank you so much, guys. You've been amazing. These awards are because you have been amazing in your house and you help your resident tutor with helping the new students in the school with everything else. So for George's house, we have Arush Gambit. For Union House, Sokli Song. For over 18, Anita Hunt. DJW, Arya Jimmy Sash. Northampton House, Nebu Abraham. Cottages, Powers. Right House, Lynette. Brew House, Mert. And for London House, Mr. Como. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. I would now like to invite our director, Mr. Giles Williams, to return to the stage to deliver his address and then the graduation certificates.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Can I just start by saying, Mr. Smith just pointed out to me, those of you who would have, I had COVID last week, so some of you will have known. I watched the under-15 final lying on my sofa, and I went from watching a fantastic performance to suddenly thinking, oh my stars, and because I heard the commentator say one of the players has collapsed. And as you all know, those of you who played football, played rugby, you know that it's a real worrying, horrible moment. But the fact that he's here now and back with us and is smiling at me, I'm delighted. And well done, Ken House. Well done on the I'll say one thing. The boys who were celebrating, what a team they were, because they weren't quite celebrating. Because they weren't quite together, and I saw it on the TV, and I could see that they missed having their mate with them, and it was a really bittersweet moment. And those of you who play football at high level will have known that there's times when you've won a game, but someone's got injured, and it's not quite the same. You know, and I'm sure the boys are really happy to see you back. So well done. Well done also to Kimana, Osman. Nearly said Tessie then. Kimana, Osman, Indy, Victoria, Bari. It's very brave of you to stand up in front of everybody. It's not easy, and you've done a great job this evening. So congratulations to you. Ladies and gentlemen, staff and students of the college, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure indeed to be with you this evening, and thank you for coming to our prize giving event. And thank you to those of you who've come. I met the Hilsons yesterday, who travelled 24 hours to be here, which I thought was quite incredible. And it's a huge commitment to support your children. I wanted to detail a little story that I read about on the internet regarding a farmer from China. Said on the internet the farmer was from China. My wife's from China. She'd never heard the story. Anyway, once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all of his neighbours came around to commiserate, and they said, "We're so sorry to hear your horse has run away. So unfortunate." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, and it brought with it 7 wild horses. And everybody said, "Oh, that's so lucky. What a great turn of events for you, because now you've got 8 horses." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, his son was trying to break one of the horses, trying to ride it in. And while he was doing so, he was thrown off the horse and he broke his leg. And the neighbours said, "Oh dear, that's so bad." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers from the army came round to conscript people into the army. They rejected his son because he had a broken leg. And again, all the neighbours came round and said, "Isn't that great?" And the farmer said, "Maybe." And I think the learnings we can draw from this tale are that life is complex and there's dangers in assumption, drawing conclusions quickly and being swift to take sides without consideration. There's much to be said for what Shakespeare called modest stillness and humility, particularly when times are challenging and when the future is uncertain. Assumptions that we make in an effort to label things good and bad are not always helpful. Last night, I had dinner with two parents from the college, and we were discussing about AI and whether AI would shape the future careers for graduating students and for their children. And one of the mums expressed her desire to develop her son's EQ as well as IQ, as AI may replace more IQ-orientated roles than EQ-orientated roles. And my mind went back 20 years ago. I was on a ski holiday with a friend of mine. There's a friend of mine who's a ski guide in Switzerland. We skied all day. We were sitting, having a beer. The sun was going down next to Lake Geneva. Beautiful little town called Vevey. Some of you might know it. We were having a drink, and I noticed that there was a man in the cafe with a very, very handicapped partner. The lady was paralysed. I don't know if she'd had a skiing injury, perhaps she'd had a stroke, an aneurysm, I don't know. But I saw her husband dip his napkin into a glass of wine, and he put it to his wife's lips, just so she could suck the taste of the wine in her mouth. And as we were talking last night, I thought artificial intelligence is amazing and it will change the world, but it is artificial. And therein, there is a wonder in humanity, and there is a wonder in us being alive. And that made me think of you guys, who faced such a challenge this year, losing a friend, losing a pupil, losing a family member. It's something that you can never be prepared for, and it leaves some painful scars. Similarly, you guys are coming to terms with the new world in a post-pandemic landscape. There's conflict in parts of the world many of us hold dear, and we live in very unsettled economic times. But I hope as you leavers embark on the road ahead, I hope that you feel that your EQ has been nurtured and shepherded here as well as your IQ. I'll leave you with a bit of research has highlighted that a child's personality is a genetic mosaic of over 400 psychological traits, inherited not necessarily from your parents, from your extended family. As a parent, one's role is better described as that of a shepherd rather than an engineer. The shepherd can choose the grazing ground for the sheep and ensure the sheep is safe from harm, but it can't turn the sheep into a dog or into a horse. At this college, we hugely appreciate the commitment and support of our parental body as they assist the college community and shepherd their own children through these formative years. We're very grateful that you have chosen us as a grazing pasture, and we hugely appreciate the trust that you have placed in us. To our graduating students, we wish you every success in your future careers, and we pray that we have assisted you to prepare well. Please remember that you always have a home here in Market Harborough. Our door is always open. I think most of you will have seen that it's not unusual for Brookhouse students to return, and we hope you do the same. I'd like to give a vote of thanks to all of the college staff for their dedication and kindness to all the students throughout this year. And to our returning students, we look forward to next year. Future chapters. It's a blank page. We can write it together. We look forward to continued success, to continuing maintenance of the values that we all hold dear, and to continuing support for each other. Finally, have a good night. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. now announce the graduation awards.
Graduating class of 2023. Let's hope we stay in the right order or go terribly wrong with your graduation certificates. Swap them afterwards. Okay, we're starting at the top of the alphabet. Again, apologies if my pronunciation's terrible. Nebiu Abraham. Ibrahim Adamu. Timmy, I can't pronounce your proper name. Oluwatimileyin Ajiboye. Please come on up. Abdul Wali Ajala. Oluwademilade Ajibade. Anthony Anzi Ware.
It's you.
Jeremiah Ondara Atandi, Thompson O Young, Jennifer Wee Wong Kiang. Henry Wee Kwa Kwa, Anthony Carreras, Praise Nemeka Chamberlain. Cobra Chimeza, Victor Chakwu and J. Anthony Clark, please. Ebuka Orondu and Adrian Ezekwegu. Bolo Fakahinde, Matt Hilson and Anita Hunt. Alexander Hassi, Mohammed Issa and Usman Yusuf Jibrin.
Wow.
Adam Hele Hart Long, Li Li Zhen, Eric Liang Dong Shu. Next up, Lim Boon Yong, Ashley McGasey, and Bryson Mayer. Please come up to the stage, Everest Janga Makeka, Mikhail Marinescu, and Peter Next up to the stage, Sebastian Umbies, Stefan Milea, and Isaac Maguero. Next up to the stage, Stuart Mirabu, Mike Morega, and Ryan Murphy, please. Okay, just to test my Vietnamese. Wen Duan Ja Tan. Wen Qua Tang Edwards. Wen Tan Fat and Ronnie. Emmy, Wenty, Mai Ann, and Gwen Viet Ann, please come to the stage. Next up, Hamza Ibrahim Nyalenka, Adewale Abdul Ghaffar Ogalola, and Miracle Chinmaya Ramesh Thakle, Bamza Tuan Ann, and Tilly graduates, please come up. Billy Pleck, Archie Powell, and Ishak Sheikh Rabiu.
Go back quick.
Please come to the stage, Sohail Rajavi, Indy Rupert, and Malika Sasanova. Michael Shin, Abdul Rahman Shitu. We're nearly there, guys. There's a lot of you. Song Sockley, Gloria Sylvester, and It's This Time. And a big cheer. We have our last three graduates here in the room. Yushi Goni, Life and Direct from Hospital, Kettering General. I'm glad you're with us. Ian Coe. And Boti Chong, the longest standing student in the college. So if you're watching at home, Justin Chow, Mufadil Usman, and Peter Sean Davidson, well done.
Thank you very much. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Before we call two students up to give closing remarks, I'd just like to just award one last certificate to Wali Ajala. Come up, please. This is for the UWE Prize for Performance in the University Foundation Programme. Finally, last but not least, I'd like to invite for closing remarks Barry Chu, and Victoria Smith-Carver.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we close this evening's ceremonies, I'd like to take this opportunity to say, on behalf of the whole Brookhouse College community, congratulations to both the graduates and the prize winners. What a wonderful evening we are having so far. Now that we have celebrated the achievements of our peers and of the school, we will soon be taking some refreshments in the main campus. Thank you.
Before we bring the ceremony to a close, we would like to thank our guest speakers giving their inspirational speeches, the leadership and staff of Brookhouse College for supporting and organizing this event, but also our coaches and teachers supporting us throughout the year, and all of you coming to enjoy the celebration of achievement and wish our graduates well in the future. We'd now like to invite our guests, parents, Mr. Smith, and directors to adjourn to the main campus for some refreshments.
Barry, Victoria, thank you very much. So we would like to echo that invitation here for our VIP guests, for all of our guests to adjourn to the main campus for a meal. I'd like to ask our students, our student community, to just remain seated for a little while longer. Thank you.
Wait. Students, you will stay behind. Oh. All right, parents and guests, I will see you there. Come on, we're gonna go there soon, don't worry.
Yeah.